Good morning. What is going on, everybody? Here we go this week. We have an episode for you. We have feedback. Okay.
Feedback.
Why do we have feedback?
There we go.
Always the technical difficulty, man. That's the beauty of doing live.
This is how it starts. This is how usually good ones start this way. So
Oh yeah, man. Do we have a quiz this week? I am going to fail every single one just to continue my chaos from last week. We have the discussion topic this week is going to be a fun one too. I have no idea what it is. I already forgot. And because it's a sad topic. It's a very sad topic that we're talking about, how to fire somebody.
And the funny part about that is
and just I'm really good at it.
you are good at it, and I suck at it. Because if you remember a phone call I gave you earlier this week about someone that I just didn't want the aggravation.
That's true. I just helped you this week.
Yeah.
That's right. See, that's how good I am at it. It is so natural to me that I don't even remember. It does. I lose no sleep over it.
I have questions.
I have answers.
Okay.
Not good answers, but I have answers.
We'll start with the easy one. Not the quiz yet, but easy questions. We have coming up, if you're in Illinois and we're in a renewal year, we have 7-hour event coming up where you can get 7 hours, correct?
You know what? We should link that. That's a good idea, isn't it? So for everybody's convenience, I'm going to link the registration link to our program that's going to be coming up. And if that's something you're interested in, you want to register for, just bear with me a minute. It's a 7-hour, it's a full day, 7-hour continuing education program that we're going to be putting together that will count towards fulfilling half the requirement for your renewal this year. September is coming up. This is the renewal year in September. For those of you that are interested in getting your in-person hours, or getting education in general, March 10, which is a Monday, we're going to be running the day from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And it's going to be in Downers Grove. And then we will have a second program in May 19th. And that'll also be from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in Downers Grove as well, too. So it'll be a fun day of learning. We're going to be talking to, what's going to be interesting about this one is we're going to cover a variety of topics. I don't know why that was a tongue twister. We're going to be talking about, especially in particular lately, a lot of people are shedding and losing hair from having overly medicated, whether it's because of diseases, whether it's because of diet medications, whether it's because of supplements. There's so much things going on out there, and everybody's on a pill of something for something, which is great because, it helps them in their lives. But enough people complain about the side effects, but not enough people have solutions for those side effects. So that's something major that we're going to be covering. And then there are a couple of haircuts that are trending that we talked about in last week's live. So we're going to be going over those haircuts. A version of the bob, a version of the shag, and actually a customized version of low density cutting for people with thin, fine hair, or people that are suffering from shedding as well, too. We're going to be talking about hair extensions. Wefts are still trending and they're popular, but keratin bond, K-tips, have actually seen a resurgence in popularity as well, too. Not that they ever went away, but they are equally gaining popularity again. So, and we never stopped doing them. So that's something that we're going to be talking about.
Yep.
Hair color is always a fun topic, and it's always, a lot of questions. In particular, toning nowadays, holy cow, is toning out of control lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing a lot of arguments about toning, which is so unnecessary. I don't know why everybody's arguing about it, because it's very straightforward and very simple, or it should be very straightforward and very simple. I guess that's why a lot of people are arguing. It's not as straightforward and simple as they thought it was. So,
Well, it's in our nature to make things more difficult than they actually are.
seriously. So that's what we're going to be talking about that,
and we're going to be talking about keratin depletion.
And then we're going to be talking about keratin depletion, which is pretty much a major cause to why hair weakens, breaks, becomes brittle, split ends, color fades, frizz, flyaways, and every other nasty thing that is just not fun. That's why you're having a bad hair day, is because of a major factor is because of keratin depletion. So
agreed. So sign up. You can check it out. Eddie put a link up. If not, you can go to htbbeauty.com and register, or call the office. And what number is that, young man?
847-741-5000 is the direct line to our offices.
So you have 3 ways to register for this. Definitely come check it out. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a day of hair. And you're going to get CU hours, which bonus. And you get to spend the day with us and Darren. And it'll be a great day. So, are you ready for your quiz?
I will be in about 30. Less than, actually. There it is.
Go.
Okay, go.
All right, you ready?
I am now.
What are the 4 stages of hair growth?
4 stages of hair growth?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the growing, resting, shedding, and recycling?
What are they called?
Oh, are you talking about like the catagen, telogen, and anagen phase of hair growth?
And actually, there's a 4th.
So what's the 4th one then?
Okay, so you are right. You got a question right, but anagen is the growing phase.
Yeah.
Catagen is they're calling it the transition phase now.
Oh, that's not the resting phase no more.
No.
Oh.
Catagen is where the follicles start to shrink and growing slows. Telogen is the resting phase, and then they're calling the shed. They took the shedding and put it into its own grouping now, and it's called exogen. This is according to the Dermatological Institute. So it's anagen is the growing phase. Catagen is the transition phase, where the hair is still in the head. The follicles are starting to shrink and growing slows. Telogen is the true resting phase, where it's shed and the follicle is resting. And exogen is actually the shedding.
You know what? That's really interesting. That's really cool to be able to learn something. Okay, here, look. I've just learned something live. So now my brain is going 100 miles an hour right now, right? So this is my process. So this is what I get excited about science.
Okay.
It makes sense in a way of, this is why if you could catch it early enough, you could potentially do something about it. You don't, just because your hair isn't currently growing doesn't mean that it has to fully cycle out, because that catagen phase can last for years before it goes into the next phase, the anagen, which means with proper care, maintenance, and potential nutrition, you could potentially extend the life cycle of that catagen phase. And another year or 2 of that is just extends the life cycle of the entire hair shaft that much longer, which means death occurs that much later in life of the follicle.
Yep.
It means you go bald later in life, if you even are going to go bald. That's huge. That's cool.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So, true or false? 1 to 3% of a healthy head of hair is in the catagen phase.
It would have to be true.
It is true. 1 to 3%. Okay. You are correct. True. 1 to 3%. So think about it. Think about all the follicles that are in the head, except my head. But in a healthy head of hair, where only 1 to 3% is actually resting. The rest is either growing and or shedding. I mean, that's cool. And to follow that up, what percentage of hair on a healthy head is in the telogen phase, which is the resting phase? A, 1%, B, 5%, C, 12%, D, 9%.
I have to say the 13%. I guess a good majority of it would be in the resting phase. No, the resting phase doesn't last very long.
Nope.
2
months.
Yeah. So, well, you lose so much a day, though. Oh man! Oh, you got me on a trick question now.
It's 9%. 9% of
okay.
of a healthy head of hair.
Close.
The follicles are resting.
Okay.
So now with your final question, true or false? On a normal scalp, on a normal healthy scalp, 50 to 100 hairs are shed every day.
Yeah, that's the average.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the average.
You were 3 for 4 today. You're like a shedding master.
I need one of those scrub brushes that you have for your dog.
We'll get the mitt for you. We'll get the mitt.
Oh my God. Yeah. My pretty. And you're just
That's funny.
It really is interesting. It really, really is fascinating, man. I don't know. Science is fun. I like science. It's cool.
Well, you are what is your saying with that?
Oh, science is fun, but science is dumb. It doesn't know what we want it to do. It only knows what we tell it to do.
Right? Right?
That's why you must ask questions. It's why you must explore and go out there to infinity and beyond. Yeah, not Enterprise Star Trek or anything. I'm going total Toy Story over here, Buzz Lightyear style. What is it, to boldly go where no man's gone before? Like that was the Star Trek thing.
Yeah.
No. I'm going Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. See, I picture you more of a Woody than a Buzz Lightyear.
No way. Woody was too regimented. Buzz Lightyear, and in the later Toy Stories, like Duke Kaboom, total chaos. Yeah, total chaos. I am all for it.
Actually, let me take that back. You were like one of the little green army men.
Yeah. Oh, bless! I shouldn't have moved like that. Oh, spaz. Okay, hold on. I'm having a spaz.
Hold on, Eddie's dying.
Take over for a minute.
I'll take over for a minute.
Oh.
Well, Eddie and I touched on a subject that is that we all face, every single one of us, and that is how to really let a client know you're no longer interested in servicing them.
You're fired.
You're fired. I need your hands. You're not great. And the funny part is we mentioned it is that I was faced with this situation earlier this week. I had someone and she's a good person, just our visions just don't match. And every time that her hair gets done, it is a redo. And it costs her time It costs me time and money. And now she's talking to me about hair extensions. And she wants hair extensions. Now, I know how she is with her color. Hair extensions will be just a nightmare on another level, as far as I'm concerned. And so what I've done is I was coming up with every excuse in the world not to do her hair. And I called you and I'm like, hey, I'm just going to tell this client this. And you were like, what did you say?
I said, it's better to put your hand on her shoulder, look her in the eye, all dreamy, and say, you're a beautiful person. It's not you, it's me.
Now we know how Eddie used to break up with girls.
No, that's how I know that line's so good. I was on the receiving end of that line all the time. Yeah. Except I wasn't told I was a beautiful person. I was just, that's what I would say to a girl. You know, the girl saying it to me was just like, you're a nut job. It's totally, it's not you, it's me. I can't keep up with you, you know? So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one way of doing it. And it's a cop out. It's a total cop out way. Another way of doing it is borrowing the insult that we learned last week. Madam, you're an ugly person, even in the dark. I can't deal with you no more. That's another way of hurting somebody's feelings and being very rude. You'd burn a total bridge. And who knows how that fallout would follow you later on in life, because everybody knows somebody through 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
So those two ways are not recommended. Okay. What's also equally not recommended, and I think it's actually, I would rather hear those, because I think it's far worse when we are in our minds, we're trying to be kind and we're trying to avoid the confrontation rather than hit it head on, because confrontations are not fun.
No.
For the average person, for most people, confrontations are not fun. And so we do things where we think we're saving the person's honor or respect or whatever. And we do things like, oh, you know, I'm just too busy this week. I can't do it this week. I need to cancel your appointment and reschedule it. I'll get back to you. And then you're hoping that the person is going to be like, oh no, I want it now. So if you can't do it, I'm going to go find somebody else. That really only happens about 10% of the time. It doesn't happen as often as we hope it does, because the person is invested with you. For whatever reason, however the reason, they're invested with you. They want you. So it's almost going to be like that movie. What was the name of that movie with John Cusack? Oh, Better Off Dead.
$2.
Where's my $2? And they're just going to keep following you everywhere. They're just never going to go away till they get what they want, right? And it's unfortunate, because how many times, just think about how many times you've heard a client say, you're the only one that puts up with me, or you're the only one that does my hair, or I don't know what I would ever do if you stopped doing hair. You know, if you think about those clients who you want to get rid of, or if you think about those clients that you make you roll your eyes at, and for whatever reason, they've been with you for an extended period of time, just think about, they used to be salon hoppers before they landed with you. So they're crazy and you're crazy finally merged. To break that bond, it's going to be painful, man. That's going to come to a head.
Right.
Okay. It's better to cut your losses sooner and rip the Band-Aid as soon as possible than to drag it on, because the longer you drag it on, the more you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. And that's just not what this is about. It's not why we do what we do.
Right.
Now, at the same time, because of that whole emotional turmoil, we feel very obligated, sometimes trapped. It almost turns into Stockholm syndrome from our end, where we feel, responsibility to continue to do the person's hair and deal with the person's craziness at the expense of our own mental health sometimes too. And that's not nice either. There's no equivalent exchange in that of any kind. No. So really the advice, what it comes down to is, you have to be true to yourself. the only way you can perform your job properly is if you're clear up here. If you're clouded with stress, and we make this joke in classes all the time, but it's a joke because it's a reality. You walk in at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're having a great morning. You look at your book, and all of a sudden you see Susan at 4, and you're like, oh, my whole day is ruined.
Yep.
Well, you're worrying about somebody 8 hours from now. Your whole mind is off because of something that's going to happen 8 hours from now. In the meantime, you have a 9:30. Well, if you book on 30 minutes, you have 13 other appointments between now and then. You know, how is that fair to everybody else that's
Right.
going to see you beforehand? And then
Right.
finally you get to the end of the day, and then she canceled or rescheduled to the next day or to a different day. Now that day is equally just as ruined. So now you were stressed out for nothing that whole day, and now you're going to be stressed out for the next couple of days because you know she's coming in on 2 days from now or whenever.
Or sometime next week. So that's just in the back of your mind for that
And
whole
now it's in the back of your mind. Now you're taking that home with you too. Don't tell me you don't take that home. We all take that home.
Yeah.
We don't remember the 100 good services we did. We're all hung up on the last client that we goofed on. And that's the client that we remember every single detail. And it's just not fair to everybody and all the good stuff that we do every day and all day long, you know?
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna correct you for just a second, because maybe a lot of these clients isn't someone that we goofed on. It is someone that maybe we gave them our best effort, but our best effort wasn't good enough for them. But
that's fair. Sure.
For some reason, they found a connection with us, but we don't want the connection with them. And I just, and I'm very fortunate, and whatever higher power you're listening, I'm very fortunate that I just have a couple of them. One of them you gave to me because she was your problem. And actually it's turned out pretty well because I just don't deal with it the way you used to.
You're welcome.
But on the other side of that though is then, so I mean, really to the root of this is honesty really is the best policy then, is what you're saying.
You have to have that honest conversation. Yeah.
And like I said in the beginning is, and you can sugarcoat it a little bit and just be like, look, what I see and what you see are two different things. And I'm not going to be able to do it the way you want me to do it. Now, the reverse of that is maybe with that honesty, all of a sudden this person will realize, holy cow, I've got someone that's really talented in front of me, and maybe I should just let them do their job.
Is talented and is willing to put up with my crazy. So maybe I need to tone it down a notch.
Right. But and see, we can open up a Pandora's box with this, because there's a fine line between I love it, and then they go home and they see someone and they're like, oh, what did you do to your hair? And then immediately you're getting a phone call.
That's not what this is about. No.
Right. But there is a fine line between that and, oh, wow, you missed a spot, or this highlight, this highlight looks just a little too chunky, whatever. That's a fine line between that and that. And, or, they're 68 years old. They come in with a picture of I can't even think of Taylor Swift. And they're like, how come I don't look like her? I told you this is the hair I wanted. That, once again, it's unrealistic expectations. It's managing expectations. But there just comes that point where it's like, look, like you said, the stress that we put ourselves under, we've got a full day. We've got 13 people on our books, and this person's coming in at number 13. There's 12 other people that deserve the best version of us. And you can't let them inside your creativity, inside your artistry, you just can't let them inside your head. I guess am I close to what you're talking about?
It's precisely what I'm talking about. The simplest generic response that is universally accepted by all is like, look, my creative vision for your hair and your creative vision for your hair are not lining up. And I don't know, and I don't feel confident anymore that I have the ability to get you to where you're trying to get. So I'm going to refer you to another salon in the area or potentially another stylist in the salon. But I am going to remove myself from further, booking appointments with you to try to continue to render you services because I'm not able to get you to the to where you want. I don't feel confident anymore that I'm able to get you to where you want. You're not saying I don't have the skill set anymore. You're not saying I'm not good enough anymore. You're just saying you don't have the confidence to stay on the same in the same lane and carpool with them and go along for the ride, to get them to where they're trying to get to. It's as simple as that. There's going to be some waterworks, or there's going to be some choice words. You're gonna take it on the chin for a minute. You're gonna get told some stuff and smile and nod, and that's fine because it's it. Or hopefully it's respectful, and the client appreciates the honesty and is a decent human being about it.
Right.
Either way, let them have, it's a breakup.
Yeah.
So you've already decided in your mind that this is over.
Right.
This is the first time they're hearing it. So let them have their stages of grief. Let them go through their 7 stages in that 30 seconds. That's the other thing I think we forget, which is really important when we go to fire somebody.
Right.
Is the fallout. Is because, like I said, we're the ones in this relationship that have thought this through and have come to a decision by ourselves, even though it's 2 people in this relationship. We're the ones that have decided to end it. To them, it's a premature ending. To us, this has been coming for a while now.
Right. Right.
And I'm going to use it simply as a relationship because, in essence, professional, but it's still a relationship. It is what it is. So
it is a relationship, and it is,
and it's a psychologically intimate relationship. It's different than just saying, I'm not going to go to the dentist no more. I'm not going to go to the doctor no more. I'm not going to go to get my oil changed over here no more. We really do have a psychologically, a mentally intimate relationship with these people. So when we break up with them, it really does hurt. It really does affect the person. So
right.
That's how that goes.
And now, and just to put a caveat on this, I mean, I think at least for me personally, over 30 years, 4 people I've ended it with.
That's not bad. You got a good record
for a myriad of reasons. Because you
are god awful nice. You put up with a lot.
But I always, this subject brings me back to an old friend of both of ours who he's probably looking down on us right now. He was an old school hairdresser. He was a named hairdresser at one point in time. We can't mention his name. And I still remember it was like my 3rd day at the salon. This was 28 years ago. And there's this woman, she's got half her hair done, and he's got her by the arm and walking her to the door, opens the door, GTFO, don't ever come back.
Wow.
And I'm watching him, and once again, old school hairdresser. And I guess that was kind of commonplace back then.
Oh, yeah.
And he just stormed back to his station, and I couldn't help it. I just walked over and said, what happened? He goes, I'm setting her hair. Yeah, he was doing a curling iron set. He goes, and she keeps putting her fingers in her hair. He goes,
that's terrible.
And she's complaining, and that her hair goes this way. That. He goes, I'm the artist here. Go, I don't care. He goes, I don't. You know what? the charge for the haircut and the charge for the style, she can have it. And literally 4 weeks later, she came back on bended knee, begging him to take her back. And I saw him do that a number of times with clients. I mean, he was a great hairdresser, fantastic hairdresser, but it's just, I'll put it to everybody watching. I go, what are some of the ways that you have ended the relationship with your clients?
We're going to hear about ghosting people, and I think that's the worst way to do it.
Well, let's hear. I think everybody, we're all in this together, and we all share and this is all about sharing ideas and stuff. Give us some of your experiences. I'd be very interested to see how other people handle it.
Fair enough.
I mean, I've witnessed you going, get out of my chair. Please don't come back. Please don't come back.
I probably should do it a little more softer. I'm very blunt about it.
Yeah.
But that's just my personality, and at the end of the day, people appreciate it because that's my personality.
Yeah. So I think we covered that pretty well. I need to talk to you about something that we're all of us are seeing a lot of in the salon now, and for a myriad of reasons, from people with who have drastically changed their diets, all the way to medication, and then all the way to really scalp conditions. Is shedding is becoming, well, it's always been, but it just seems like it's very much a hot topic right now with most clients.
It's huge.
And there's so many different reasons, and you're getting reports out. We have and I'll bring it up. We have a lot of our clients that are on the shot for weight loss, and they look fantastic. They've lost half a person, but their hair has become just either fragile, or the inflammation in the scalp is so much because they've changed their diet so much that the follicles are just shedding like crazy. And I think that as professionals, we have tools at our disposal to at least help with that. Once again, we're not doctors. We don't play one on TV either. We're not doctors, but there are tools that we can give them, that we can, take home, and things that they can do to at least stem the tide. Is that a great way to put it? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. Here is my very short, summarized explanation of how when I'm talking to a client behind the chair, this is how I explain to them what shedding really is and what it means. And we're talking about excessive shedding, not natural shedding.
Right.
It's excessive shedding to the point where clients are complaining and they're concerned that they're losing hair. You think about it like you're driving down the highway and you're trying to go from home, you're trying to get downtown, and you're driving down the highway. There's a lot of exits. Okay. That's all the nutrition going through your body. That highway system is all the nutrition being delivered from your house to downtown. All those little exits, all those little stop-offs are just pit stops along the way. All right. Now, when nutrition is being delivered to the main spot, to the end spot, which is, the cycle of the body going around, all those little pit stops, all those little exits, that's our hair. When the blood flow is going through your body, through your skull, that's all your follicles. That's all your hair. It's just grabbing whatever excess nutrition is going through. When you put yourself into a shock, whether it's because you've changed your diet, it's because you're changing your hormones, it's because you're changing your medication, it's because you're on something, you're doing something, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Even if you start doing drugs, like anything you do that is outside of the norm, your body is such a delicate ecosystem. And as soon as you throw a grenade in there and you offset everything, it's like a ripple that turns into a tidal wave. Your body goes into a form of a shock. So now you're still going down the road, but it's skipping all the pit stops because there's just not enough excess to drop off and deliver. It only has enough to make it to its final destination. And so you run out of supplies. And that's where it starts drying up. That's why you start to feel your hair is getting more brittle. That's why it's getting weaker. That's why the curl pattern is changing. That's why it's starting to fall out more often. That's why it's not coloring the same. That's why it's not doing anything the same anymore. Your nails and your hair is your early warning system, is your body's way of giving your early warning system that something has changed adversely so extreme that your body's freaking out and is trying to readjust. Your nails and your hair is a result of excess nutrition, leftover nutrition. That's what your hair and your nails are. It's excess keratin, leftover amino acids and proteins. Okay, that's what the keratin is that your hair and your nails are made of. So if you have abundance of it, then you have great hair, you got great nails. If you don't have enough or you have a shortage of it, that's why you've got crap nails and crap hair. It's why everybody's on these supplements for hair growth and nail strengthening and all of that stuff. That's why there's all these cuticle oils and hair oils and tonics and treatments and everything else. These things don't exist just for the sake of existing, like we got nothing else better to do. They serve a very specific purpose. And it's just like we were talking about earlier with the resting phase of the hair, the catagen phase of the hair. You can extend the life cycle of that phase but during that cycle, you still got to be in good health. That's what that whole thing's about.
Right.
More than anything else.
And then some of the things that, and especially that you and I are involved with, my go-to for clients that have these concerns is the Xenogen hair serum.
The hair serum. Oh yeah, sure.
Because it's water-based. It has 15 plant extracts in it. And they're cold pressed plants. It's not boiled down. So all the nutrients from the plants are there. It's a topical. It's applied to the scalp. It's massaged into the scalp. And one of the biggest things that I've learned that I've seen with the Xenogen hair serum is the scalp condition. A lot of the inflammation goes away, and it's actually a nice pliable scalp compared to where it was inflamed and very tight. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense because you're adding back, you're replacing lost nutrition for that area.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. Until the body can internally normalize, topically, you're giving what you're bringing supplies. You're dropping off that excess supplies that those areas need.
Right.
While there's a shortage going on. That's really what that's about. And that's products like the Xenogen scalp serum, hair serum. It's really important. It's huge.
Right.
It makes a significant difference, in literally saving your hair.
And
then
And then because we are Xenogen thick, the Evolve and the Revolve shampoo and conditioner. The shampoo itself cleanses, and especially if you use this, what is that thing called? It's the scalp massager. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that manipulator.
It's a stimulator. The thing to remember, guys, is that you increase the blood flow to the scalp. Internally, that means a higher flow of blood coming through the scalp is going to bring more nutrients and things like that. And then with the addition of doing something like that, where it's actually you're manipulating the scalp and actually helping a lot of those free radicals and things like that come out of the follicles, you're going to have healthier more pliable hair, which then in turn is going to give you more, lose a lot of that brittleness, a lot of that flyawayness, because those natural oils are going to be going to be flowing out, and the hair is just going to be in that much better condition.
It's very true. Yeah. When the hair is at a loss for supplies, that's when all kinds of craziness starts occurring, build up and look, just because you're not getting nutrition there doesn't mean the shop's closed. It's still open for business. So stuff is still getting in there. And if the shelves are empty because there's no good stuff on there, it's going to make room for bad stuff to get on there.
Right.
So, and that's what you're talking about. So that's why, yes, the stimulation, the addition of topical products, to offset temporarily, that inflammation or that bad stuff that's occurring, just to keep everything running smooth and business as usual.
Right.
That's why it's so vital, so important, because you got to help your body in the interim until it can catch up by itself. That is going to be one of the major topics that we're going to be talking about at that Hours event, coming up in March and also in May. So it's important. These there's a lot of science involved. We try to keep it. Science is important to understand, but man, does it get deep? Man, does it get really knee deep? So it's fun to go over it, but you got to keep it digestible as well for it to make sense. Otherwise, if you have a hard time explaining it, the client's going to have a hard time understanding it.
I'm going to steal from Chad, and like Chad always says, your scalp is skin too. And if you put a moisturizer on your face, you also need to be moisturizing your scalp and taking care of the skin that is your scalp. I think that's it in a nutshell. And I'm stealing from Chad. And Chad, if you're watching, thank you.
It's a great advice. It was a great,
It really is. It really is. Anything else that you want to add to the whole Xenogen and shedding issue?
Man, I mean, we can carry on about that topic alone for days, man. The great news is there are things that you can do about it. Don't take the L. Don't feel defeated about it. Talk to your stylist. Have them reach out to us at HTB Beauty. I don't care. But there are ways that you can help it, prevent it, or do something about it. There is an answer.
Right.
And that's really what it's about more than anything else.
Absolutely. And guys, I mean, for those of us that are the professionals, we're behind the chair, and our clients are coming to us, they're looking for answers, and you can't blow them off. You can't blow them off. They're looking for answers, and there are many things at our fingertips out there that could at least help. Once again, and you have to preface it with, I'm a hair professional, but I am not a doctor. So here's some topical stuff that might help. But if it's like alopecia or something like that, I mean, that you have to refer them to their doctors, because we're not licensed for that stuff, guys. But there are things that we can give them that will help.
It's true.
So with that being said, I think we can close the book on that. We are going to get into deep into that when we have our event coming, our 2 events coming up. Feel free to come and hang out with us. So we are down to, I can't believe this. I mean, we're down to the motivation part of this week.
Time flying today, man. Let me tell you.
It's been a busy morning.
I have a terrible motivation.
Go for it.
I hope you have a good one.
I have a good one. Do the terrible one first.
Mine's bad. I'm just going to say this up front, and it's not mine. I just saw this the other day, and I had to have a laugh because I thought of you.
Okay.
So this is really bad. I'm just telling you right now. This is off the cuff.
Let's go.
All right. The easiest way to cure depression is to accept it and fall in love with it, because then it'll leave you too, like everything else in your life.
Whoo!
It's so great. I've been holding on to this all week.
You are the second person, believe this or not, you are the second person to hit me with that statement this week. I can't believe it. I am in complete and total. You've just thrown me off of my whole game for today. That is the second time I have heard that statement this week.
It's so bad. Come on, man. But I love it. I loved it so much that I remembered it to tell you.
Fall in love with your depression because it'll leave you too.
Accept it and fall in love with it, and it'll leave you too, like everything else.
Wow, that should be on a coffee mug.
There's got to be something to that. There's got to be some positive to that somewhere. I don't know where.
Positive to that. Thanks, Eddie. All right. Well, I have to counterbalance that with some positive because
I told you it was a bad one.
Dude, that is dark. And the person that told me that, I looked at them and went, "That's dark."
Do they have a dark humor like I do?
Yeah, and I was halfway through cutting their hair when they said that to me.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little Martin Luther King today. Okay? If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. If you can't, the way I look at it is if you can't do hit the home run, hit a single and do it really well. And you can do a whole bunch of small things instead of one large grand thing, and it'll equal that large grand thing. And it's the little things in life that make the difference, though, aren't they?
The little things that count. I mean, that's how the expression goes. It's the little things that count.
It's the little things that count. So,
what was that movie? Was it Bob? Uncle Bob? Baby steps to the elevator, baby steps to the car.
What about Bob?
What about Bob?
Yeah.
Talk about doing little things great. Go watch that movie. That there you go.
And then watch Over the Top after that so you can feel good about yourself.
Dude, talk about doing all the little things that count. Okay. That's just going to become a running joke. That's just going to become a staple. No, but if you think about it, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. It might take you longer than everybody else, but you're still going to get there. But you made it.
And you accomplished what you set out to do.
I'm all for that. That's cool. Yeah. Just like the tortoise is still, slow, but you get there.
Right. Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady. Yeah. I'm all for it. I think that's cool. Everybody has these grandiose ideas that they want to do something, right. And they're easily defeated because, it's just, where do you begin? Like there's those expressions too. Oh, I'd love to do that, but where would I even start? How would I don't even know where, what, how, why.
Do one thing towards it. One thing
towards it. So what is, a client shows you a picture of a style, of a look, and you're looking at this thing going, I've seen that before. I've heard of that before. I have no idea. I've never attempted that before. Right? That's what mannequins are for. I don't think enough people put enough stock into keeping a mannequin head laying around.
I'm constantly messing around with mannequin heads
I got a dozen of them.
Swatches. You know, it's
Or
the same
swatches.
thing. Like
Another thing, Giovanni actually taught me this, journaling.
Okay.
Get a notebook, get a pad, or nowadays with technology, put it on your phone and get the notes section on your phone. The thing with him, what his whole thing was, get an actual pen and paper and actually write with your hands, because it uses your mind creatively, you know, and you go back and you reread your own handwriting and you're looking at your notes again. He just said it's just more empowering, like it's more stimulating to do it that way. But if you write down a goal, almost like a vision board, if you write it down, don't throw it into space. Actually hold on to it so you can keep track of it. And every day, write down and log what you did to work towards that. It's huge.
You made fun of my binder when we first started working together. You used to make fun of my binder.
I did.
I have all these papers right here with all kinds of writing on it and stuff that go into the binder, of all ideas and then crazy stuff that me and Darren talk about. And it works. That's just my way of doing it. Because if I don't write it down, I'm not going to remember it. That's just how I am. I'm very visual spatial. But like you and I were talking about earlier, was, you know, when we were making how to make colors. If say you're out of a color, you know, get some swatches. They're dirt cheap at Amazon. I mean, I always have my ring of swatches, and mix it up, paint it on the swatch, and see what it comes out to. It's the same thing. It is the same exact thing. But once again, it's doing the small stuff. It's the little things that equal up to great things. Yeah,
I love it. That's a cool quote.
We covered a lot of stuff today in a very short period of time.
Today flew by. Today really flew by.
Yeah, it did. Once again, guys, if you are with us, if you're an HTB person, or if you're looking to see what we've got going on educationally, htbbeauty.com, right? Give us some comments. We want to know how you break up with your clients. I think that would be a fun thing to revisit later on down the road. This has been a great week. The weather has not been cooperating for anybody here in the United States, so everybody stay warm, and hopefully you're not knee deep in snow. We are going to be back again next week.
We will.
Thanks a lot for watching us. We appreciate everything you guys do for us, and the comments and the support that we get from you guys. Have a good week.
Catch you later.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.